Hey guys, how's everyone doing today? I hope good. I wanted to share a few of the oracle cards and some mindfulness cards with you today. Something to maybe help you start your day positive, hopefully. Okay. So we're going to start with the mindful meditation. Let's see what card I pull out. We have try a sun salutation, yoga routine. Yoga works with the energy in the body in order to still the mind. So if any of you have never done yoga, I actually bought a video years ago. Her name is Zoe. Can't think of the name of the videos, but it's like yoga, like a mindful yoga. It's soft and just mainly stretches and stuff like that, and it's nice and it's calming. So that is a good thing. Yoga, calming, meditation, anything calming your nervous system down. So this is the Mind Oracle, Mind Info Oracle. Let's see what card I got here. Grounding. So this is, you're being asked to ground yourself. You've been spending too much time in your head, and it's time to pay attention to your body and go to the earth. Go outside and plant your feet on the ground and enjoy the centering feeling this brings. And that's a proven thing. That grounding actually really does work. It releases toxins and everything. It's amazing. I don't know why my camera keeps doing that. Boy, I'm a mess. I don't know why I even looked in the mirror, guys. Sorry. And then I wanted to do one of the Animal Spirit Oracle cards. Get them all out. I got them. Okay. So this is Puffin, Partnership. Accept yourself and your colorful personality. Feel confident about being you. You are a joy bringer. Let your community nourish and protect you. Ask for help. Teamwork will give you the best results. So just birds. Let's do one more. I always like these. Why does my phone keep doing that? It's always dimming and brightening and nothing's changing. There's no lights changing. There's no messages coming in. Eventually, one day, maybe I'll get an actual camera. So this is Orca the Whale, Adventure. Dare to do things differently. Sing your wild song. Manifest your travel dreams. Attempt the great journey with confidence. Be loyal. Friends and family are your... Be loyal. Sorry. Friends and family are your treasures. Be brave. You are more powerful than you know. I don't know if you guys can see it. So those were those messages. And for some reason, this is a shadow work card. This fell out when I was pulling those out. So this is suppression. Express. Don't suppress. Authenticity is freeing. Restraint, repression, and censorship. So it's saying to express, don't suppress. And literally, that's something that I talk about all the time, even in my books. Oh, I'm Christine, founder and owner of Whispers of the Wounded Soul. If you don't know me, I wrote Turning Wounds into Wisdom, Learning and Healing from Trauma. And I'm also the author of Whispers of Healing, the Wisdom Within. And this is a companion journal that kind of goes with the chapters or the traumas, I guess you could say, with this book. So you can use this book without that book. You don't have to have it. This one is literally about you, for you. It's asking you shadow work questions. So it says on the back, Whispers of Healing, The Wisdom Within. This isn't a feel-good read. It's a soul-deep workbook. You're not here to avoid the shadows. You're here to understand them. Each chapter walks beside you through reflection prompts, shadow work exercises, and gentle belief-clearing practices drawn from turning wounds into wisdom. You'll uncover the stories beneath your pain, calm your nervous system, and begin installing new truths that feel safe to live. This book weaves together the tools that helped me heal: journaling, grounding, tapping, breathwork, hypnosis, and NLP, all written in everyday language, not the theory. It's meant to be used, written in, cried on, and returned to. Healing isn't about fixing yourself. It's about remembering you were never broken. So that's that. And then at the end, how to heal and calm the mind. I give you some information on clearing. So I'm just going to read this to you real quick. Clearing the noise, rewriting the story. So this is what I talk about when I'm saying not to dwell or live in situations going on in your life right now. I think some people misunderstand me. I'm not saying I don't have any problems and I'm just walking around pretending everything's great. I have the weight of the world on me as well. Things going on in the world that are insane and scary and crazy and all the things. But I just choose not to carry that on me because it's not affecting my life at this moment, in this moment. So again, it's not like, well, whatever, I can just pretend that things don't affect me at all because it's not affecting my life. And in actuality, all the things going on are affecting our lives. My point that I try to make all the time is yesterday's gone, tomorrow's not promised, and an hour from now is not guaranteed. So at this moment in my life, what can I do to make myself happy? Am I going to sit here and dwell on, is there going to be World War III, Epstein's list? Half of you don't know. Most of it, well, anyone that doesn't know me isn't going to know. I just recently had the biggest tower of my moment. Tower point. Sorry, I can't even talk right now. I'm going through a lot, guys. And I've had some people tell me that, that clearing my beliefs and moving on and not carrying things is great and all, but other people have heavy shit they're dealing with. And it kind of struck me because my whole life is nothing but heavy shit, and it's heavy shit right now. I lost my car right before Christmas. Had my car repossessed before Christmas, a week before. I watched it getting dragged out of the driveway. I wasn't able to work because of so much pain and all the organ problems I'm having and the anxiety and everything. I was allowing it all to eat me up inside to the point where I can no longer work. And I was on permanent disability due to pulmonary embolism that I had years back. My lung was damaged, and the depression and the anxiety, and now the fibromyalgia, which fibromyalgia does take you down. It stops you from being able to live if you let it. And that's what I did. I got diagnosed in 2009 after years of wondering why my body hurt like I was beat by a truck, why pain was so bad all the time. And I had natural childbirth because I've been in pain for so many years that was nothing to me. I mean, seriously. So it's like I've been through so much, and then I'm still going through it now, and I'm going to be 59 years old, and I have nothing. Nothing. I don't own a home. I don't have anything. That's why I'm sharing all of this. I'm not embarrassed. I used to be humiliated. That's why I walked around smiling, acting like everything was great. And all the positivity and all the stuff I push out there, I've been learning for the past 20 years, but I was giving it to you. I was sharing it. I wasn't using it on me. And once I started using all of these tools on me, I started healing. I started genuinely feeling a happiness coming back out of me. That inner child that's just bombarded with shit. That inner child still lives inside of us. That beautiful wounded soul still lives inside of you. And it's like, this is why I'm sharing everything, to show you that I'm going through it now. And I've been going through it since I was a little child, since I was born. I was born into chaos. I wasn't born to loving parents. Not even one of them. They didn't want me. So imagine, I wasn't born to just, some people say, well, I didn't have a dad or I didn't have a mom. Some people, I guess, too, didn't have either. Some of you are adopted. But did you have loving adoptive parents? Hopefully. If not, hey, I'm with you. Because it's just been, thankfully I had my grandparents to take care of me, but it wasn't a mom and dad. It wasn't the mom and dad that were coming and going out of my life. I think it would, and I used to say that. I actually used to say, and that just came to me. It's not even in my book. I would wish that my mom would die. And I remember telling my grandmother that. I wish my mom would die. And she said, why would you say that? And I said, because then she could just leave once. I couldn't handle it anymore. I was in my 30s when she finally came back into my life. And next thing you know, after a year or two, she's diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. And now I get to watch her die. I got to take care of her after she destroyed my life, technically, as a child, took my childhood away from me. But I was still there taking care of her and doing everything I could for her up till the moment she died. But then she died in the hospital while I went home to take care of my daughter. And that is a trigger for me, because when the love of my life was dying, I was told to go home and take care of my daughter, and that he'd be under and out for hours. And he died while I was gone. I didn't make it back to the hospital in time. So again, as you see, it's just constant. And what I've learned is that you have to learn and heal from all of the wounds. And you really have to get past the grief and stuff of death, of the people that we lose, because they want us to go on. They don't want us to sit here and be miserable for the rest of our lives while they're not here anymore. And they're still with us. And it was just 12:12 on the clock when I was talking about them being with us. And I really believe that. And that's what I'm learning too. I'm studying the neuroplasticity, how you can reframe your wires in your mind, rewire them. I've been studying neurolinguistics, all of the programming with the mind, belief clearing. I have a certification. I have a certification in hypnosis. And again, I always say, I'm not like, oh, I'm certified. It's letting you know that I've studied deeply enough that I've certified in them, and it was to help me. I wanted to heal. I took the courses because I was like, ooh, if they're teaching you every in and out of this subject, I want to learn it because I want to be fixed. 58 years of constant trauma and struggle, medications, doctors, psychiatrists, psychologists, therapies, it's just nothing worked. Nothing was working. I was listening to hypnosis tapes and subliminal tapes back when I was 19 years old for weight loss. I don't know why the hell, but I was doing that back then. And the problem is, none of these things that I was doing was helping me. Doing the breath work, even doing the deep breathing techniques, and the ones where I even talk to you guys about, where you look around at objects and you find 3 objects and then you touch some things. You're changing your focus. All the focus things, they'll work for a moment, and then boom, my head's right back to the negative beliefs and the self limiting, the sabotaging, all of it. Doing tapping, doing hypnosis work. What else do I do? Mainly the tapping and the hypnosis work I do a lot. And the shadow work and the journaling. If you want to heal and you don't want to live like this anymore, then you have to do the work. And again, I understand grief. I've had people out there tell me, well, people are carrying heavy things and we just can't get over it. That's not what I'm saying. I can't either. I'm still carrying it right now as I'm talking to you. You can hear it in my voice. It's still here. The point is, I don't live in it. I choose to not live in this anymore, in this misery that wanted to take me out. I was done. Numerous times through my life, I thought I was done, and something sucked me back in. Something kept me here. And then this last moment, last year when I was really at the end of my rope and thought there's no reason. I mean, I'm 58 years old. Nothing's getting better. I had just turned 58. I was just so done. And I decided to kind of seclude myself. And then I talk about in the book, I went to my friend's attic for about 5 months and cried and healed and journaled and studied and wrote books and just let everything that I was shoving down, all of the thoughts, all the death, all of the loss, all of the worry, all of the things going on in the world, everything that was happening, I was just letting it hit me. Boom, 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 left and right. I was sobbing and crying from the pit of my soul, my whole stomach. Like, I can't even describe to you. And it was like that. I mean, that released so many things that now when it kind of comes back into my head, I'm like, oh, okay. And I dealt with this, and boom. And then I try to focus immediately on something else. It doesn't mean you're shoving it down, because that's what I did. And again, it's stress, and stress kills. So holding on to grief and holding on to all the things that happened to you when you were a kid and saying, well, I just can't get over it. And then, and it's just heavy stuff that we all have. No, nobody said we have to hold it. We just assume we do, because people are like, oh, you're so strong and you can handle so much. That's not what we're meant to. And even with all the research and studies I've done, our nervous system and our brains aren't meant for all of this stuff, this 24/7 news. And that's the problem too. Right now, if you didn't have all of this 24/7 news and 24/7 social media shoving all this shit going on in the world down your throat, it wouldn't be so hard to ignore. Do you know what I mean? So again, you're not ignoring, but if this can't suit me right now, if it's not for my higher good, if it's not paying my bill, if it's not helping my life at this moment right now, and it's not hindering me, and it's not hurting my family at this moment, and that's when you have to take that breath and think, look around, I'm safe. If you know that your family's safe at that moment, my family's safe, I'm safe, everything's good. Hug yourself, put a hand over your heart and one over your belly, put 2 hands over your heart. Take some nice deep breaths. Let yourself know that you're safe. And then, what can I do with this that I just found out? Is this affecting my life right this moment? Is this causing anything in my life at this moment? And again, I'm going to keep saying it. Yesterday's gone. Tomorrow's not promised. An hour from now is not promised. So at this moment, is that heavy thing really worth taking up your last moments of dwelling on it when you can't do anything about it? Fix it if you can. Write a letter if you have to. Pay the bill. You know what I mean? If you can't pay the bill, write them a letter, call them and let them know. Do what you can, what you possibly can. And then you have to let it go. And we hear it all the time. Let go and let God. It is what it is, all of that stuff. It's not people saying, oh, well, I give up and I don't care anymore and I'm pretending it's not here. It's saying, okay, I've done what I know I can do. And if it's not serving my life at this moment, I'm trusting that God's going to take care of it for me. You got to have some kind of faith. If you don't have faith in God and you don't have faith in the universe or anything, then whatever you have faith in, like, I don't understand it. Because my whole life, it's like I was taught, I was raised Catholic. You have to believe in God and you have to believe this and the Bible says this and all of that. It was all, and I was always questioning and judging things and something just didn't add up. And then just recently, as I've really, really gone through this, and even especially since my fibromyalgia diagnosis, that was in 2009, I feel God around me because I started meditating. And it's like, I feel closer to God. I feel closer to Jesus. I don't have to believe anything anymore. It's like I know now. I know that there's something else. I know there's a higher power. I know there's something that's causing me to question myself. Like, we don't think about that. And a lot of these people that I study, Greg Braden, and like I said, Dr. Joe Vitale, Louise Hay, why can't I think of anyone else? Don Miguel Ruiz, all the people that study all this stuff with the brain and everything. It's like, it's just fascinating, the amount of control we really have over those limiting beliefs and those thoughts. So that's all I'm trying to share with everyone. I'm at the worst moment of my life, like I said, and for the first time, I'm not shoving it down and sitting here smiling with my mask and pretending it's not happening. I did what I could, and I also now have faith that something better's coming. If I don't, I'd be laying in bed right now, or maybe not here. Give up. My loved one that I loved isn't here anymore. This person's not here anymore, and I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about all of us. This thing is gone. This person left me. I just got divorced from this person. This friend of all these years is out of my life, and all these things. It's so what? Your validation and your love and your acceptance all comes from you and from God, from the higher power, from the creator, from whatever, the universe. You can't expect your love and your happiness and everything to come from outside, because those things aren't promised or guaranteed to stay. Nothing's guaranteed to stay. So if you live your life clinging on to people and things, just like I did. I was reading a book when I was like 20 years old called Please Somebody Love Me. At 21 years old, and I was married, 20 or 21, I think I was 20. I was married, and I was moving on and, living my life, and thought everything was going to be okay, and then it wasn't. It was, again, I jumped into things because I was running on trauma. The situation that I was in wasn't good. We're all told, you grow up, you go to school, you go to college, you get married, you buy a house, you have kids, the whole thing that we think we have to live. That's the thing too. We all think we have to achieve and do and be and just be. So it was like, well, I need to get married anyway. This is my way out of, all of this. I wanted to run from the life that I lived. Even though my grandmother was my savior technically growing up, and I don't know what I would do without her. She wasn't mom, and my grandpa died when I was 13 or 12. I buried him on Christmas Eve. He's the one that raised me with my nanny. And then my other grandmother, my father's mom, died on my 13th birthday. And it's like the loss and feeling so alone at such a young age. And then having it compounding. Before my love of my life died, and like I said, we were only 27 years old, I'd also, right around the same time, lost a cousin, and then not too long after, another cousin, and then a really good friend of ours passed away. And it was just like, when is it going to end? Another friend of mine, and then another one after. I mean, that's what I mean. I could sit here and go on and on and on and on. And it's not just like, an old friend from high school passed away, and as much as it hurts and it sucks and it makes you think and oh, what a good person they were. I'm talking genuine people that I loved and were a part of my life were just like flies, like one after another, just gone. And then I carry guilt. I didn't talk to that person enough. Maybe if I said this, maybe if I did that, it would have saved them. Why didn't I know the things that I know now? I keep feeling could have maybe helped my mom with her cancer. Eat all the sugar and the different things she was eating and doing. I didn't know better then. I have more knowledge now, and I start to go down that road. But just as I'm talking about it with you right now, I know that she's not here. She would want me to be happy, and at this moment, that's not serving my life. So now I'm going to go on and move on. And then earlier, in fact, that's what I was doing. And I came and sat down here to do this video with you guys. So it's not pretending things aren't happening, and it's not shoving them down. It's processing them, handling them. How is this affecting my life? How is it going to affect my life? What can I do to not allow that? And then you have to kind of be like tough love with your own mind. And when that thought pops back up, remember when this or that happened and you did that, you have to just stop automatically and just say, no, that thought doesn't serve me. And it really is that easy once you become mindful. And it's that easy when you decide, I couldn't live another year like that. I couldn't live another year, and I'm going on 59 years old in a couple weeks. I wouldn't even be here right now if I didn't change those thoughts. And that's why I share all of this. I don't want anyone else to ever give up because they think there's no hope. The thoughts are never going to go away. The memories are never going to go away. But what you can do is have control of where those thoughts are going and what you're hanging on to. Louise Hay, and I've talked about it before, talks about the filing cabinet. When you have a filing cabinet of all this stuff, here's all the death I've been through, and here's all of this, and here's all the times people said terrible things to me and hurt me, and here's the time that this happened, here's the child abuse here, here's all these files and folders, and then they're constantly gnawing at you. So when something happens or something comes up or a memory or a song, it's automatically going to drag you back to all of that. When you're trying to program the positive thoughts and the affirmations that are in my books and that everyone talks about, you see them everywhere, all these positive affirmations. I used to do them too. Every day I'd look in the mirror and say the affirmations over and over, because I do know that just like a habit, 21 days of something will start to rewire the brain. But it just wasn't taking. It wasn't happening. That's when I learned more about the subconscious and hanging on to all of those thoughts and hanging on to all of those memories in a way that your body is absorbed. And I talk about that too, the book, God, why do I do this? Oh, the body keeps the score. And it does. So, when something happens, your body automatically starts releasing adrenaline and cortisol. And the next thing you know, the chemicals in your brain are going, and that amygdala is letting you know this situation happened. Your hippocampus and your prefrontal cortex. And I talk about those three parts because those are the three most important parts in healing trauma, because they're all working together trying to save you from something that's not happening. When you're dwelling in a thought, or you're dwelling in a situation or something that happened to you, and it's not happening at this moment, it's because your body is reliving it. When I was writing my book and was going back to some of the traumas that I've been, and I was feeling it, physically feeling it. It was hard. And again, I always say, get if you're already with a doctor or something, please don't do this stuff without being, getting checked to make sure you can handle it. And if you're not with a doctor or anything, keep a phone nearby in case you need someone to call, because even friends and other people that have read my book have said that they cried hard, and some people even took notes and everything. It brings back your own trauma by reading some of my stuff. But yeah, so I just wanted to share that with you. I don't ever want anyone to think, and I've had people say, well, it must be nice that you can just move on, but some of us have some heavy stuff. When I tell you, I'm still carrying it, but I'm trying to release it, and I'm trying to help teach you with the same tools that I'm learning. We don't have to carry it, and we're not meant to carry it, and our brains and our bodies can't. It literally, stress kills, and carrying on, holding on to grief and holding on to all the things that we've been through in our life is stress. A lot of us older women, especially after menopause, talk about that weight that we can't lose, especially around the midsection. That's cortisol. Even in your 30s, you start having, you can't lose weight. You don't know why. I can't seem to get rid of all this. If you're stressed out, there's your reason. You can change your diet. You can, change how much you exercise, and I guarantee that part won't change because I've been studying that. There's a doctor, Dr. Jade Teta. He actually, what is it called now? Something metabol. Look him up. He's got a book and a workout for women of all ages, and he actually went back to school to study the women's body and how their hormones and everything work through certain ages, because his own mother wasn't losing weight. He was working with all these young women. All these women are getting in shape and building muscle and doing this and that, and his mom was ready to give up. She said, it's just never going to work. When he started studying, he realized that the older you get, the less physical and impact hard stuff you need to do. It literally just going for walks for women, in their 50s is better for your body than doing the strenuous workouts, because it's making the cortisol release. So besides all this extra hard workouts that you're doing and wondering why you're not losing weight, on top of the stress that you're feeling. So again, I don't know it all, and I'm not the answer. I'm still healing and learning too, but I'm sharing with you because it took me 25 years of studying and learning and reading and webinars and everything. Some people don't realize that that stuff's even out there. So I'm sharing it with you so that you know you're not alone, and there's tools, and you don't have to use me for them. I'm naming all the people and all the tools right here. You could go Google them yourself. But what I'm trying to do is save you. I spent money years ago that I didn't even have on these courses, and they never worked for me because I didn't apply it. I didn't do the shadow work. I didn't do the workbooks, and I didn't do the journaling because I just didn't want to. And I thought some of it was wacky. Okay, you know, this or that, and you know, telling your thoughts or something. It's real. So yeah, I just wanted to say that we have more control over our thoughts than we think we do. And that's the problem. We allow our thoughts to rule our lives, and they're not in charge. Those are the parts that are meant to save us. And it thinks it's doing right. But all it's doing is holding us in that same path, in that same depression, and we're going to keep making the same mistakes or still living in the same situation. Nothing is ever, ever, ever going to change if we don't start changing those thought patterns. And it's as easy, and it's not, as stopping it, being aware, and changing that thought. So the self-awareness that I talk about a lot is the biggest part of what saved me. Journaling and self-awareness. So now when I get off here and something happens, because everything happens, or I'll go on Facebook and I'll read a new file that came out, and I'll look at it for a minute, I'll accept it, I'll read it, I'll process it to the best that I can, and then I have to say, okay, well, now how is this going to affect my life right now at this moment, and how is this going to affect my family at this moment? And if it isn't, that's when you have to let it go. And it doesn't mean you don't care. It doesn't mean that you're pretending it's not happening. You have to process it first and kind of deal with it if you can. And then, like I said, I just want to go back to grief again real quick. I'm not saying that you have to get over it, because that is the worst thing that you could do, and everyone grieves in their own way. And I've admitted before, even on these videos, that I still cry every day over certain people that I've lost, and not sobbing. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I might have a day or two where every song and everything, a butterfly, anything is, oh, and that's okay. It's okay. I could take 2 whole days and cry all day long if I want to. That's fine. That's how I'm grieving. So nobody could tell you how to grieve. The point is, you can't live in it. You can't. What about the rest of your family or your animals, your pets that need you and rely on you? And if you're sitting there dwelling and depressed, because I've been there. I was on on all kinds of medications. And when I tell you medications, not just, I was on an antidepressant. I was on lithium. I was on something called Abilify. I was on something called Depakote. I was on something called Seroquel. Go look them up. They're antipsychotic medications. There's some wild shit that I was on. And then I found out years later that I didn't have a chemical imbalance, maybe slightly. It was my trauma that I've been carrying and not processing for decades. It really was. Because once I started releasing it and trying to learn from what it was teaching me, and if it was something that I'm like, what could you possibly have taught me by taking the love of my life away from me? There's no answer. There is. I just don't know it, and I have to accept that. Otherwise, I'm going to spend the rest of my life, I would have still been in bed and I wouldn't be here right now. So when I say those things, it's not saying just get over it, and you can cry every single day if you want, or every night when you go to bed. But try to remember that they're there. Try to take those moments when you think of them, instead of crying or drinking or numbing, which I did for years. As soon as I started to get upset, let's have a drink, let's smoke, let's take this pill, let's take the Xanax or Klonopin. I was on those too. try to sit with it and think about them and ask them to come to you, and then listen for the signs. Quiet down long enough, stop for long enough to look around and see this beautiful earth that we live on. We really do. We're blessed, any people that are here in the United States, no matter where you live. No matter where you live, there's a beautiful area and a beautiful part. And, the sun comes out eventually, and the rain I used to hate, like everyone, rainy days, oh, it's raining, when is it going to be a shitty day? No, it's not. Because the animals out there need the rain, and the ground needs the rain, and the grass and the flowers. And, it's like, stop. It just came to that point in my life where I was like, all I'm doing is just, and that's the problem out there in the world, I'm going to say it. All the negativity out there is just keeping everyone negative. Everyone's walking around miserable and looking at their phones, and did you see this? Did you see that? Is this happening? And this one. If we all continue doing that, that's all we're going to have is chaos. But as soon as you start smiling and handling things and trying to give someone else your, empathy, standing in line somewhere instead of being pissed off, like, oh, this person's got to write a check. Maybe it's all they have. It's their only way. Or maybe they're traumatized in their head because they had their identity hacked and they don't want to use a credit card. You're behind someone in traffic who's going slow. Maybe they just lost their spouse or their child and they can't even comprehend. Maybe that person in line right there who they don't even have their wallet, they're not even ready. This is what I'm trying to teach everyone. Yeah, we all have really, really heavy shit. All of us. Even the people out there smiling, even the ones still wearing the masks. The difference is I'm not wearing the mask anymore. I'm choosing to right now be happy. I'm choosing to share intimate details and raw, horrible hell with you to show you that you're not alone and that you don't have to live in it. You don't have to stay there every single day of your life. Give your pet your love and attention and play with your pet. Let that inner child come out. I learn that everywhere in all these different cards that I use. There's many of them, and you'll find stuff about that inner child. In fact, let's pull one of these. You've got to let your inner child come out, and you have to. I mean, you can be mad at me and not watch and, say good for you, that you can pretend that everything's fine. And again, if you listen to me, that's not what I'm saying at all. Everything is not fine at all. I just choose to not allow it to absorb my entire life and let me live however many years I have left miserable. I'm going to be 59. I don't want to be unhappy anymore. I want to live. I want to enjoy life. And the only way to do that is to process and let go. Because everything's going to keep happening. Tomorrow something else is going to happen, and this is going to happen in the world, and who knows, where we're at now. Everyone's a wreck. But that's the media trying to keep us there. We're trying to deal with our own thing, deal with a loss, grief or whatever, but we've got all this crap and, bombarding our brains. So it's like every single person in the planet right now is living in some kind of chaos in their heads. I'm not the only one. Thousands of people out there are sharing the same things. Stop letting it absorb you, unless you want to stay there. If you do, then you're probably not even watching me. If you want to actually live and be happy, you have to force it. You have to, I hate saying it that way, because then that's when I have people jump on me. It's like, no, I can't, can't win for losing. Is that what they say? You have to process the thoughts, and then you have to learn to take and hold on to what, leave what's not serving you. That's kind of what I'm trying to say. So it's not, the day my car got towed away. After all these years of paying for that car and having that car, my whole life seemed to fall apart when I moved out of the state I was in and moved up to the Pocono Mountains. It's beautiful up here, and that's what I have to keep telling myself. I'm here. It's beautiful, and something else is going to come out of this. So I'm not pretending it didn't happen. I still sometimes sit and cry because I loved my car, and that was my car, and that was my way around. That was like that I knew deep down that I couldn't let it absorb me. I couldn't save it. I did everything that I could to save it. And I'm also not going to beat myself up for it. Well, you lost your car because of this or that. I don't do that to myself anymore either. That's what I mean. What was the point of that? What's the point of blaming myself and beating myself up about it when it's not going to bring my car back? Nothing's going to bring it back. It's gone. That's it. It's over. It's done. It's gone. Months ago. Over. Do I still think about it? As you see, yes. Do I dwell on it? No. Because it's not going to serve me right now. Not going to get my car back. It's not going to change what happened. I only have my moment right now to think about, and right now, whatever I'm doing is what makes me happy. Sharing this with you makes me happy because of the countless people that reach out to me and thank me and share their stories with me of where they are. And then the ones who are doing some of the tapping and some of the, I had one person say she did the hypnosis thing where you scan your body. And she said for the first time in years, she can't remember actually falling asleep, feeling relaxed. It works. It's proven to work. So that's why I'm sharing. Anyway, so the card that I pulled was 17, go on an adventure. I'm a wreck. I can't believe I'm on here looking like this, guys. So to go on an adventure is to awaken the explorer within. There is much joy to be had in adopting the spirit of exploration, even for a day. As children, life was a remarkable journey into the unknown, and remembering that excitement can bring our joyful inner child to the surface. If you pulled this card, then it may be time to try something new today. Practice living in the moment and do something spontaneous. It does not have to be a big something, only a new something, and don't worry if the details are not perfectly planned. Some of the best memories can be made when you least expect them. Go on an adventure, either big or small, and do not let apprehension keep you from exploring. Apprehension will fade, but the wonder that is to be found will surely not. If you have extreme anxiety around this exercise, do something that feels adventurous but not overwhelming, such as reading a new book or trying a new dish at your favorite restaurant. Be gentle with yourself and know that you will find your own beautiful, wonderful adventure that's just for you. Responsive journaling prompt. What emotions does the idea of adventure bring up in you? Is it something you believe you are capable of or will enjoy? And how does your inner child feel about the idea of an adventure? So, and I just watched one of the shorts, one of the videos on Facebook where the lady said that she's been doing things like that recently. I got to stop looking at that part of the camera. And took herself out. She actually took herself out for lunch to a place that she normally wouldn't go to by herself. And she said she normally would rush through because a lot of us on trauma too, we're constantly in a hurry. But instead of doing that, she sat and enjoyed a nice lunch by herself. And, little things like that. I have a very hard time walking into places by myself, but that would be a push, like they said, getting past that apprehension and then really sitting there and enjoying a meal and having that time to myself. It's important to take time for yourself and time to unwind and time to, meditate and just close your eyes and just be. It's freeing to lose all of that baggage and all the stuff that you don't have to carry. And that's what I've gotten rid of. I still haven't gotten rid of all my childhood trauma. I haven't gotten rid of half of it. I don't know that I ever will. But what I did learn is that I don't have to carry it with me every single day anymore. I can handle bits and pieces at a time. It was 4:44:14 on the clock. So if anyone else does things with synchronicities and time. All right, I'm sorry this message was so long, but I really wanted to share all of this with you. So I hope you have a great day and, make it a good day. And I will be back soon. Thanks, guys, for watching and following and reaching out to me. I wouldn't even be doing this if it wasn't for those of you letting me know that you're here and that I'm helping. So thank you. Bye, guys.